Hey guys, welcome back to the One Up Weekly. I am with my co-host Justin. Justin, how's your weekend, dude?
Dude, it's pretty cool. I was working pretty hard. Actually got a video out yesterday. That was pretty cool. I haven't done one of those
I
in a while.
know.
I guess they're kind of fun to do. I might try to do those more often. Maybe. We'll see. But
Well,
how
I
was
know
your
I
weekend,
missed
man?
it. It was good. Guess what? I finally got around to seeing the Sonic movie. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So we're going to talk about that a little bit later. But
Yeah.
I just want to dive right into stuff. So the whole like premise of this show is going to be all about how right now it's kind of crazy, right? We kind of view retro and the popularity of retro coming in ebbs and flows. But yeah, but
This is classic. This is great.
okay. Okay, we're totally live right now, so we got to do that like after. Okay, I literally just started the show. Yeah, we can get one. We'll have plenty of time. Okay, go ask him. Perfect. Cool. So yeah, I have no idea what I was just saying. So my son needs a mouth guard for football. So
Hey, that's important. That's important.
awesome. Yeah. So all right. So where were we? So I feel like with retro, right? It's it's ebbs and flows, right? But right
Yeah.
now it just seems like laser hot because Sonic. You've got the crazy, like the weirdest things ever coming out now. You got like Tiger Electronics coming out with their thing. You have Arcade One Up with the ColecoVision thing. You got, you just got stuff everywhere.
Right. A lot
And
of people were saying a couple years ago that the retro bubble may have burst, but maybe there was a little bit of like, some people weren't as interested in because NES Classic when that came out, that was kind of the peak, I think, of it.
Yeah.
Super Nintendo, that was really good. Switch, there was a lot of different things that really brought retro back, but it seemed to kind of slow down. Arcade One Up helped in this community, but now it feels like
It's all over, dude.
It's all over. This is great time to be alive, right?
It really is. It's so cool. So I wanted to bring something up because, we're always trying to share, Justin and I are always trying to share cool things that we come across. And so this is probably about, I want to say it was back in October. I got contacted by, and Justin, you got to remember, I can't remember his name. Is it Ryan?
Oh,
Because I
he's
think the
gonna
owner's
kill
name
us.
is, yeah, I think the owner's name is Ryan.
I'm gonna check real quick. Anyway,
Okay,
start
check
talking
real
about
quick. All right, so check real quick. So it was back in October.
Yeah,
Uh,
you're
it's
right. It's
Ryan,
Ryan.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Ryan, who runs this magazine, Old School Gamer magazine. He's like, you got, you love retro. I watch your videos. Like, you gotta check this out. You're gonna love the magazine. And they kind of had this dialogue back and forth about like, do you love like, did you love the magazines? Did you have like things like Nintendo Power? I'm like, oh my gosh, yes. So Justin, wasn't it kind of like amazing back then, where like you didn't really have the internet, so to speak. Like, you didn't
right.
have that gateway into like that set top box. It sat there, and that's what you played games from. But like Nintendo Power was like your gateway, right,
Yeah.
into Nintendo and all the things coming out and what was going on amongst all the other magazines. But were those things that like meant a lot to you
Yeah,
back
like
then?
when I was a kid, I remember we would go on trips a lot, right? We would drive around, and I always made sure I had the latest Nintendo Power magazine. And I don't think I had a subscription, but we could pick them up at like the gas station or Walmart or something like that. And
Yeah.
I definitely, I mean, it was awesome. Just we can go on and on about how amazing the Nintendo Power was.
Yeah. So this has been something that I've been reading over the last probably 3 months or so, and I love it. It's got like great articles. It's got things about a remember who doesn't remember playing Myst on the
Oh,
PC?
yeah.
Like it's got stuff about Myst. It's got stuff about Tetris. It just depends on what they decide to cover that month. But oh my gosh, it has stuff about Twin Galaxies. All you guys know about Twin Galaxies, right? There's so many cool articles, and I love the way it's presented here in a format you can read. They also have this really great section of the magazine toward the back that tells you all the retro gaming, festivals or conferences that are happening. So I mean, it's so cool. It's got in here, look, April 9th through 11th. That's when you got E3. They just added in the most recent one, sorry, it's skipping my mind, right? Really, the one I'm going to here in Phoenix. Why can't I think of it right now? Game on Expo. So it's got all your local expos in it. It's just one of those things. I'd encourage you to go over to it. You can get, and we're gonna after the show, I'll have all the links to all this stuff in the description. But you can do a free digital subscription. But honestly, the cost isn't that high, and they offer a print subscription. So I mean, I would suggest doing the print subscription. It's an subscription, and it's $30 for the year. But it's just really neat. It's kept me up to date as to what's going on, and I just think it kind of brings me back to the days when I used to sit there and read magazines about gaming. So it is really cool. So I don't know, Justin. I think
this is
one
something
where
that I saw a couple months ago. We didn't talk about it, but I had seen it and I'd looked into it. And one of the reasons I was pretty excited because I was looking at it, and the guy who runs this, it says he's out of Grimes, Iowa, which is a city like literally like a throw a rock. I live right next to Grimes, like the gas station I go to is in Grimes, and so he's right here. And so I was kind of like, really, like, the guy who's making this magazine's like right here in Iowa? That's kind of cool. I was always thinking of reaching out to him and like doing an interview or something like that, because I'm sure this guy's like super knowledgeable about retro stuff if he's putting together all this magazine stuff. But then when you said that you got it, he reached out to you and you actually love the physical copy, it makes me really want to get it. So
it's really cool. I have it here. I'll bring us back up here for a second.
Because I was thinking the same thing. Like, I went to his site, and it's actually really cool that his site has the magazine online. But like immediately in my head, I'm like, no, I'll pay to have the physical thing because of what it means to me to have like a magazine that's about gaming. That's retro gaming, right? Like, that's
it's
really
totally cool. It's totally cool. So maybe we could hit the chat real quick, see what people are thinking about. Oh gosh, someone said Game Pro magazine. I used to read a ton of Game Pro magazine. I just, what was really weird as a kid? I loved the articles, like not the articles, the advertisements.
Yeah,
like the advertisements were so cool. And those of you who know about, or if you don't know about, RGT85 did his 32X book, and I love it because he has a section of the book where he shows like all the print ads, and like Sega was pretty racy back then. Like their ads were like really racy, and so it was just interesting because they were always known as being sort of like the bad boys of that era, with how they took the approach where Nintendo was more the family friendly. But it was interesting. So if you don't have that RGT85 book and you're a fan of the 32X, definitely pick it up. It's interesting. I loved the 32X, but I'm kind of a Sega fanboy, so it kind of goes with the territory. Yeah. So
I remember this one time. I'm going to tell a real quick story, but when I was a kid, must have been, I don't know how old I was, 10, something like that. We're on this long trip, and my dad had been driving the whole time. Must have been like a 15-hour trip or something. He had drove the whole thing, right? And my mom was going to drive and give him a break, and he sits in the back seat with me. And I have a Nintendo Power that I just got. I think we just picked it up at the gas station or something.
Okay.
And he looks at me and he goes, "Now, son, I don't want you to say a word. I want peace and quiet, and don't say a word because I'm gonna go to sleep." And I talk a lot, right? So I'm like, "I promise, Dad, I won't say a thing." And so I go through the magazine. I'm trying to be real quiet, and all of a sudden I see Super Tetris. And I go, "Super Tetris!" like as loud as I could. And my dad's
God.
like, "Boom, boom." Anyway, magazines are great. They bring back the childhood memories.
They do, man. They do.
What do we got in the chat here?
Well, Sean Powers, this isn't relating to this, but he said, well, a bunch of people said basically, I bet I read him in the bathroom, and yeah, I do, and you probably would too. So let's just be honest here.
Of that. That's a pretty good thing, right?
Actually, the funny thing is, I almost tweeted this the other day, and then I thought Sean might take it the wrong way. So Sean, RGT85, I have his 32X magazine is on the back of my toilet. Like it's been there for a while, and I keep reading it. I've probably read it like 6 times already, but I just like looking at it. So yes, I do read magazines in the bathroom.
I do want to call one out. Randy Wilson says, "Hey fellas, I want to thank you for your weekly live podcast. I've been going through some personal problems, and it's really nice to have something to look forward to. I love retro gaming. What brings back." And, I really appreciate this comment because I can totally relate.
Thank you.
A couple of years ago, I was feeling down, and there was a retro podcast that I started watching weekly, and it really did help pass the time. So if somehow we are helping you out through something, that means the world to me. It's awesome.
That's awesome. Thanks, Randy. And then we got a super chat from Bad Karma, and it was missed the last few live streams, had to watch after, so just sending some support. Thank you so much. And then hit you up on Instagram showing my finished beast. Thanks you guys for the guidance. Actually, so I hadn't had a chance. It's really hard now. It's weird. The channel's getting to a size where I get a lot. I actually get quite a few messages now. Before it was manageable where I could almost respond to everything, but now it becomes really difficult. I actually did see your pictures. You did like a kick ass job wiring that thing up. So that's awesome. And it really makes me feel good when when I'm just sharing something because I'm excited about it, and it's really cool to see someone go, hey, I got some inspiration after seeing that, and then they go and recreate it. A lot of times they recreated it better than I did. So that's really cool because I'm kind of going moving things fast to get to the next thing. And it's really cool to see you guys like take an idea or concept and just like run with it. It's awesome. That's really why the channel exists.
That's right. So I wanted to highlight another way to get some information on retro gaming. Maybe some of you are familiar with the website retrorgb.com. This site's been around for a number of years. It's ran by a guy named Bob. He collates all of this information. He's been doing it for years. His website was needed some help a couple of years ago, so I actually spent a little bit of time reworking his website. So this is something I put together for him, but by no means am I managing this content. There's several hundred pages of retro information on here. If you go to the website, you don't even really see how much content is actually on there. But a highlight from this week that I wanted to share that I'm super excited about is he has this article where it's actually a video on YouTube. You can check out his article and you can check out his video.
Oh my gosh, are you actually going here?
Yeah.
I'm so excited for this. Okay.
Yeah, so I think it's called the Satiator, and so it's not out yet. It's made by this guy named Professor Abrasive, and he has like a Patreon, and it's kind of being funded by crowdfunded, and it's been going on for a long time, but a lot of people still support him because he's getting closer to finishing it. It's all in his spare time. But in Bob's video, he talks about how, let me highlight it real quick, but please check it out afterwards if you're interested. So you take this little card and you stick it right into the back of the Sega Saturn. No soldering. You just plug the sucker in, takes SD card, throw your games on there, and then you can play the Sega Saturn games. Now, some people might be not interested in this because maybe they don't like piracy or something like that, and I kind of understand that. I try not to get into piracy. I like playing original carts and stuff. But with this, it's an optical drive emulator. So those CDs they're getting old, and those optical drive emulators are getting really old, and they're hard to replace. But the fact
not to mention, Justin, they break too. Like they're mechanical, they break.
Right. And so his initial his initial test, this is all in beta right now. It's not for sale just yet. You plug it in the back and it works. He says it's working really, really great. So that's really promising. And the one last thing I wanted to mention is I was talking to another friend of ours, and he was saying how the Sega Saturn and the Dreamcast are something that you want to keep an eye on. Because if you don't have one of those yet, and that is on my to-do list to pick up those consoles, he believes that the prices are going to go up soon. He's already seen prices start to kind of go up, start to creep up.
Yeah.
But the years are coming along where people that grew up, like I didn't grow up on the Sega Saturn. You know what I mean? I was like that. Yeah. I wasn't, I was older when the Sega Saturn came out, but people where that was their first console, they're getting into their 30s, right? And with maybe some money, and they're going to try to pick them up. And when that happens, kind of the prices kind of come up.
Yeah.
So just wanted to highlight that. Another highlight of the week that we're trying to do here, the One Up Weekly. So let us know in the comments what you think. Do you have a Sega Saturn? Is that a console that you loved? What do you think about the Satiator? And we'd love to get your thoughts on it.
Yeah, Justin, one of the interesting things is I didn't grow up with a Saturn either. And I'll go back to one thing you mentioned, Dreamcast. So I had bought, I think you guys may have seen it in one video. Do you remember where I made that video and I had that intro where I was talking about my mom throwing away my Dreamcast? Do you ever remember that?
Yeah.
She really did. She really did throw it away.
Yeah.
And I actually rebought my Dreamcast because I moved to California. She sold it, and someone, I think it was Detroit Love, he said like he's looking to get a Dreamcast. Like honestly, the Dreamcast still is pretty affordable to get the system, and it has it was like the last great console that hit on arcade games really well. Like so many of the games are like arcade themed and arcade like format. It's a killer system. Like if you've never checked it out, you gotta check it out. It has some of the most fun arcade type games I've ever played. But to get to your Saturn thing, so I didn't grow up with a Saturn. I didn't have a Saturn at all. And I know you and I have been talking.
Right.
I finally hooked up my Saturn. It's all hooked up through an OSSC. It looks beautiful, even though that's a weird transitional console, right? The graphics are kind of weird for us because they're like, oh, they're kind of 3D, but maybe it wasn't perfected yet. But I'm excited to jump into it. So maybe like in future One Up Weeklies, we can discuss the games of that platform that maybe, because I'm going to be discovering them for the first time, some of them. So maybe we, and I think I shared this in the Facebook group. I think it's called Guardian Heroes. The game is amazing. It's like this side-scrolling beat 'em up where your character can traverse like depth. So he actually has the ability to side scroll, but there's like 3 depth levels he can go into. He can play at the forward. You hit like your left or right, and he can move further back. And there's enemies on every plane. It's really cool.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
The closest thing I think of is that Paper Mario has a thing like that where you kind of go. You can kind of go behind, but it's only 2 layers.
This sounds really 2. Well, this is the current. You have like the first layer and then 2 more behind.
2 more. I see. Yeah.
It's pretty cool. All right, so that was awesome, dude. I think are people excited about that? I mean, Saturn, it's one of those things where
we're getting some feedback where this one guy was like, I literally have about 120 Dreamcast games, dude. That's it's Pitbull.
Yeah, that's not some guy. That's Pitbull. He's like Pitbull. A regular.
Sorry, I read the sentence first instead of the name. Yeah,
he'll squash you. Do you see his bicep in that thing? He'll like put you in a headlock and you'll be done. You'll be like,
yeah. Yeah, is that true? Ray West mentioned that he loves the Saturn, but the game prices are crazy high. So, I mean, that's another thing, right? Like, again, I started collecting the Nintendo games for a while. I got to about 100, and I was like, man, it's going to get really expensive. I actually want to play these games and, like, collect them. I'm not down for that. Like, there should be no reason. If I just want to play these games, I shouldn't have to spend thousands of dollars to play them. And I do like to pay for things versus, like, downloading them on the internet. I will if it's like really the only option.
Right.
But yeah, if it's like thousands of dollars for games that are 20, 30 years old, like I'll be like, yeah, hook me up with the Satiator and then I can test these games out. A lot of them I don't even have time to play. You know what I mean? I barely have time to be able to beat the games that are brand new or that I purchased in my collection. So anyway, that's another philosophy.
So Justin,
didn't you?
Go ahead.
Didn't you have another awesome thing that you wanted to share?
Yeah, so this one was kind of interesting. So this one was something I wanted to share. For those of you that hung out and watched my Golden Tee Silverstrike mod, you all know that at CES when Justin and I were there, we saw that Golden Tee Silverstrike, and then it was gone. Right, it was gone from the floor, which kind of bummed us out because we actually thought maybe there was a little bit more to it. But Justin, it was really just a skin at the end of the day, right? It wasn't running Silverstrike. It was the original Golden Tee, right?
Yep.
So when I did that mod, I was suggesting, hey, if you've never played Golden Tee or Silverstrike, you should probably check them out. The Golden Tees, the more modern Golden Tees. Well, I knew about this, but I never thought to share it. And I was like, why did I miss this from the video? But check this out. So this is a website you can go to. It's run by Incredible Technologies, and you can go in and you guys are going to be blown away about how many of these, like, let's say, hey, I want to play Golden Tee live. All right, I'm going to see in a 50-mile radius from my zip code, how many Golden Tee lives are there? Wait till you see this. Holy crap. Do you see how many places I could go play Golden Tee right now?
Right.
That is insane. And if you want to play, if you want to look up Silverstrike, you do the same thing. You click Silverstrike and it'll show you Silverstrike. There aren't as many places, but this is nuts. This is just the Phoenix metropolitan area. There's like a million places you can play these games. So I just thought this is kind of neat to have a website, because what's cool is when Incredible Technologies sells a Golden Tee or a Silverstrike, they actually register it to that business owner. So when they do that, they know where they all are because they have that whole network where you can get the card and you can play the game. But I just think this is really neat. And it'll actually, if you scroll down, it tells you the exact location and the game. I don't know why it gives you a thumbs up or thumbs down. I guess maybe if or a thumbs up, if the game wasn't in good condition or something, but it literally tells you all the places that they're in. So I just thought that was really neat. You're going to have to put
that link in the description after the video is over. Well, I'm going to check that out.
Yeah, I thought so too. Oh, wait, hold on. Someone wants we're going to go old school right here. I'm going to see if I remember my old zip code. 02865. That's where I grew up.
So this is where you grew up, right?
Yeah, so let's see. This is probably Mike that said that. I didn't see who had the comment, but it's probably Mike. Yeah, look, there is a lot of golden tea going on around the Rhode Island area. So yeah, you can get your golden tea on no matter what zip code you're in. So I'm gonna leave that in the description. All the stuff that we're talking about will be in the description right after the show. So
Yeah, that's right. So we're all pretty excited about the possibility that Arcade One Up could be coming out with a Silverstrike. What do you think? They kind of seems like they were going to do it, right? Like, but then they pulled it. What do you think, Ralph?
So I don't know, dude. I've gone back and forth on this. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know
Mm-hmm.
why. I was kind of thinking originally, like, is Arcade One Up bold enough to go, hey, we're in conversations with Incredible Technologies, so let's just kind of test the waters, maybe. And they go, hey, we're gonna put it at CES. We're gonna put it in that
Right.
section where we have our, our concept cabs,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe they saw it at Incredible and said, hey, look, we're not really, this isn't a definite thing yet. So maybe they asked them to remove it from the floor. I don't know. It's one of those things where they haven't really come, opened up to what that is. And maybe they're afraid if they do, it could potentially disrupt conversations that they're trying to get. I don't know. Do you have an idea? That's kind of my idea for it right now.
I don't know. I think they said some interesting things at the show where they were like, it's not official until they actually announce it, and CES isn't technically. If it's at CES, it's like 90% sure they're going to do it. I don't know. Like, the interesting thing about that particular cabinet is how it was removed the first day. So
Yeah.
we're still covering it. They said it was fine that we could talk about it, obviously, because we were curious and be like, do you want us to not talk about it? And they're like, no, that's fine. But anyway, I wanted to share something else that I think was really cool.
We did have a super chat in there. Can I
go
just
for
grab
it.
that real quick before
Yeah,
you
yeah.
do that? Yeah, so there's a super chat. Can't watch you guys live. It keeps freezing up here. But thanks for the show, and I'll watch the stream later and replay. Thank you so much for the super chat, and we definitely appreciate you watching. And it's a bummer that you can't watch it live because I think it's more fun when you get to interact. But hey, if you watch it in the replay, we still very much appreciate that. So thanks so much for that.
That's right.
All right,
So
Justin. Sorry.
it was really exciting. Last couple months, I was really excited about announcement that My Life in Gaming, their YouTube channel, started saying that they were going to do some documentaries, and they are known for building some super high quality videos. So if you guys know about My Life in Gaming, could you put a 1? Let me know. I'm curious if you guys have ever heard of My Life in Gaming. Hit a 0 if you never heard of them. I don't even need to ask if you don't like them because that's not. There's no way you won't like them because My Life in Gaming is amazing. It's awesome that I'm seeing zeros. That because I'm about to introduce you to something that's really awesome. So,
Justin, before we go to that, can I just circle back on
no,
one
you
comment
can't because
real
I
quick?
already go ahead because I have it up. But
Okay.
go ahead.
Okay. Well, because there was a question that kind of was coming off of your last thing. So it was
Okay.
basically a quick question on Dreamcast and Saturn systems. Has anyone ever thought of placing a Saturn or a Dreamcast into an arcade one-up cabinet and using an OSSC? So I actually kind of covered this a little bit in a prior episode that I did, but it's interesting. So there's a little bit more to it. Dreamcast is actually pretty easy to hook up to an arcade one-up cabinet. There's a couple different means to do it. You could use an X Arcade encoder. They have ones that direct connect. And so if that's a topic that you're interested in, I think maybe something that we don't cover on One Up Weekly, but maybe I'll do an episode on that because I have thought about that. How could I connect multiple systems? So we'll definitely talk about that. But yeah, that's a really good question though.
Yeah. Thanks for the question. So I'm gonna get up in here. So what's cool about the My Life in Gaming? They actually started a new documentary. It's I think it's 6 parts. I want to say it's called The Analog Frontiers, and I'm telling you, this is some of the best content that's on YouTube right now, next to RetroRalph. No, I'm kidding. Actually, come on, like this stuff is good. So this is what I recommend you do. Go check out Analog Frontiers Part 1 and throw this sucker on your TV. Don't watch it on your phone. Like, watch it straight up, like on your TV, like you're watching some series. I'm gonna play just a segment of it. I think the audio should come through. My favorite part is they go through and they interview all these people that are like, kind of popular in the retro gaming create space, like people that create content or people that create products, and that's basically what they're doing. They're interviewing them, but they interviewed this guy. I think it's Insurrection Technologies, and they actually interviewed his kids, and they are all into retro gaming. Like, I don't even know if they're aware of modern games, but I'm gonna play the clip just for a couple seconds.
Are you implying that the parents have not subjected them to modern games, so they only think that retro games exist?
Maybe.
Okay. There's no sound, Justin.
No sound?
No.
Check out if you can see the video.
Yeah.
Yeah, the dad's talking about how this kid actually wanted a Coleco for like, his birthday or something like that.
The kid wanted the Coleco.
Yeah.
The kid in today's day and age.
Yeah. Anyway,
Was
so
his
check
name-
it out. We'll have links in the description. Yeah, if the audio didn't come through, sorry about that. We're still working on being able to do that. But it's a 46-minute documentary. Not 1 minute is boring. My family, you saw this today. It's good, right? What do you think of it, my family?
Did you see the comment above my family's comment?
That's right. He's a doctor.
That's crazy. Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, like he's making these retro gaming cables on the side, right? Like Insurrection Industries is what he's doing. But I think we have a couple of fans of our show that are also doctors. Is that right? Give us a 1 if you're a doctor. We'd love to hear how many.
Is there a doctor in the house?
Is there a doctor in the house?
We need a doctor.
Anyway, so yeah, if you haven't checked out any My Life in Gaming's content, it's absolutely awesome. They dig down into the details, but what's really cool is this series is very entertaining. Like it's a documentary like about retro gaming.
So Zohar is a psychotherapist, and is that how you say that? Yeah. And
I think you need to go to his office, dude.
I think I do. And then Mike from Rhode Island plays one on TV. I don't know.
That's awesome.
And then we have Thunderhouse Designs, who's the doctor of love, and that's definitely a legitimate doctor. It sounds like to me. I mean, this I'm not gonna say this one, but I'm guessing that's not anything we want to touch. I don't know what I stayed at the Holiday Inn Express last night means in relation to something. I'm not sure. And then I guess this guy's saying Zohar's a doctor but doesn't make a lot of money, maybe because he can't afford to mod something. I don't know what's going on there. As you guys are getting
no, maybe he can afford it. He can afford you modding it for him. Maybe that's it.
Well, I would love to. We got to Zohar, you and I need to talk offline because I feel like we got to make whatever this dream is, we got to make this a reality somehow. Right. Maybe I make a video on how I'm going to make a mod for you. Something. We got to do something. I don't know what it's going to be, but we got to do it. We got to.
That's right.
You got to get your system that you want. Okay, apparently I don't know. This must be something funny with Holiday Inn Express commercials because I don't know it. I got to go check it out, I guess.
Yeah, we'll have to check it out. I think there was something else that you wanted to share that was pretty exciting. Is that right? Right, Ralph?
Okay, so I'm going to be kind of opinionated on it though. So I may offend some people.
Please don't be offended. Have an open mind, everybody, because Ralph's about to talk.
Okay, so I had these as a kid, dude. And the thing is, I'm trying to like vividly remember what like year it would have been that these came out. If someone if someone knows the year it came out, it might spark some like feelings or whatever memories for me.
Kind of figure out how old you were, where you lived, that type of thing.
Because I kind of remember like playing this in a car, but in my mind thinking, man, I wish I was playing, because I grew up with I had an IBM computer that my cousin gave me, and he just dumped it on me, and he's like, yeah, here you go. And he never told me. Sorry, did you hear that?
Yeah, I did. What the heck is going on?
I dropped some stuff. So he dropped it off and he said RTFM and just like left, right? Basically read the effing manual.
Right.
And I remember playing PC games and CGA, and then I got a Commodore 64, and the graphics on the Commodore 64 were really good. So when I picked this up, I was like, okay, I'm in the car playing it, but it just kind of sucks. Like I don't know. I guess it killed time in the car for me, and there was nothing better, I guess. So, but I just remember being like, man,
it looks like early 90s, I want to say. So that means what, Game Boy came out in 89, is that right?
Yeah, and I must have had a Game Boy. I must have had a Game Boy somewhere, because I remember.
Yeah,
I remember getting a Game Boy that I begged my parents for Christmas or something. But I think once I got that, like I literally didn't give a rat's about these. Like I just didn't care. I don't know. This is one nostalgia thing, and you guys know I'm super big, Justin.
Okay, let me play devil's advocate with it. All right, it's $15. It's $15. That's their debut price. Like out the gate, it's $15. That means a year from now they'll be even less.
I know, but do you know what this means?
It means that you're gonna have to buy them all.
that this damn thing. No, that's the problem, dude. Is I would want to buy them all, and then I know they would just these
That's
would
right.
100. These would sit there, and I would never use them. I would never use them.
Kind of cool. If you put them up, on a collection. Like you hang them, you put them on a shelf, and then on a little stand.
Justin, this is poll time. Like who? All right.
Yep. Let's do it.
Seriously. Now, Justin, hold on. 0 is yes and 1 is no.
No. You did it backwards on purpose. Let me do it. So, Tiger Electronics, they coming back. Let us know what you think. Hit a 0 if you're like, nope, don't like it, not gonna get it. Give us a 1 if you think it's cool. Now, keep in mind, if you say 1, that's cool. You don't have to. We got one that's a -1, so I think he really doesn't like it. But you know what's funny at that price? I wonder if people will pick it up, maybe impulse buy. These would do well like at Target, I think, on the shelf.
I think if I gave this to my son, he'd be like,
yeah,
cool.
You're right.
There's no way. Like if they're thinking kids are gonna play these, maybe little ones that have no clue. But like I don't know, kids are born in the womb with a damn iPhone now. Like there's no way they're like literally playing pop cap games on their iPhone in the womb. There's no way. I don't know. I just think that this one's like too much of a stretch for me. I feel like they're trying to pull on the nostalgia thing so hard. And these things just kind of sucked then, and they still suck.
Yeah,
I don't know.
You know what?
If I'm going to buy this,
about?
Justin, here's the thing: if I'm going to buy this, if I'm buying 2 of these, I am buying a Coleco. I am buying one of those Coleco arcade 1-up things. Way more than I'm going to touch this. I'm not even going to. That money is going to that arcade
you're right.
1-up.
So
right,
you give a kid $15, he's gonna buy a $15 game on their iPad, right? And it'll be an amazing game for $15.
Yes. Zohar had a super chat, said, I'm waiting on 1-up to release a better MK cab with better everything. If they don't, I'm hitting up Ralph, but I want to see what Arcade 1-up does. Okay, so just so you know, there was one thing that someone brought up. Someone asked, Justin, remember how on, what day was it, Friday when we did the show? Or was it Saturday morning when we did that show? Oh, yeah, yesterday.
We did a quick update show yesterday. So go ahead.
Do you remember when I said, I was kind of joking but kind of serious, where I said if David McIntosh, I was serious that if David McIntosh would send us one, we would give it away, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but then I told people to tweet him. He messaged me directly and he's like, dude, your subscribers are crazy. He goes, they won't leave me alone. So whatever you guys did, like, he's like, whoa. So we
got his attention, right?
He hasn't committed to it yet, but I think we're in a good position to like make that happen. You guys literally I think you're gonna make it happen.
Yeah, okay. I have an idea about another one, but let's give it some time, right? Maybe next week we can do let's get a group of people together to stampede his Twitter.
Stampede his Twitter. Well, you guys did a good job because he's literally like, dude, he messaged me, dude, your subscribers are totally nuts. Like in a good way, not saying you guys are really nuts. But anyways, Justin, to wrap this one up on the Tiger Electronics.
Let's wrap this one up.
I would rather divert the funds to the Coleco arcade 1-up things that are coming out, because those are just awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. It's true.
David does not have a restraining order against me. Oh, wait, someone said I tweeted the hell out of them. Oh, my gosh. Oh, boy. Justin, did you have one more to share?
Oh, yeah. Well, I think it's time to talk about Sonic.
Oh, yeah. So Sonic. So, okay. So I guess, should we see who's seen it and who hasn't? Because I wasn't going to really do any spoilers. I just kind of wanted to do my feelings on the movie.
Yeah, let us know. Hit yes if you've seen it. No if you haven't. Because I don't really want to rate it yet. So let's not confuse people with zeros and ones. Like, Yes, if you've seen it. No, if you haven't seen it.
All right. Well, we'll see
So we're
as this
starting to get
rolls
some
in.
people that have not seen it yet. Some people have. Okay.
No spoilers, please. Okay, we won't do spoilers. I just want to
Sounds
tell
good.
you. I'll give you my feelings, Justin. Then you kind of hit it up. But I
Yeah,
have to think. I
and
want to think about this a
maybe I
little bit.
can interview you. I'll ask you questions about the movie, spoiler-free questions to
Okay,
kind of like.
let's do it.
Okay, so first of all, did you like the movie, Ralph?
I loved it. I loved it, and my son loved it. We both looked at each other. He does this thing where, like after the movie, if we're walking out, I'll know whether he liked it or not because he'll like look up at me and be like, "Dad, that was a really good movie." And he said that he did it. He does it like every time. He's like, "Dad, that was a really good movie." So he like really enjoyed it.
So
like,
here it
from
is.
start
You
to
know, your
finish.
son's like 11. Is that right?
12, 12, yeah.
And you're 40. And so a
Yes.
12-year-old and a 40-year-old loved it. Okay, next question. The Sonic character, right? It's important to you, right? Like you're a big Sega fan when you were a kid.
Oh, I was like a hardcore Sega fanboy. Yeah, I remember calling. So just to put it into perspective of how much of a Sega fanboy I was, there was a kid up the street that had a Super Nintendo, and I had my Genesis, and I remember in my mind the music of Streets of Rage was like the epitome of awesome. And I remember calling him on my phone, and we would get into like verbal fights about what platform was better, and then I'd get so mad that I'd call him, and when he'd pick up, I'd just play the Streets of Rage theme song like over and over again, and like just dial him back over and over. Anyway, so yeah, big Sega fan.
So then how well do they treat your Sonic character?
I thought it was awesome. Like if I have to look at how he was in that movie, like put it this way, I'm thinking to myself in his lead character, right? I'm looking at him going, all right, his co-lead, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Was it believable that he's like friends with him? And I was like, oh my gosh, yes. Like he was so cool. You'd want to be friends with him. It was awesome. It was like Sonic with a heart, but not so soft that you're like, oh, it's lame. You know what I mean? It was like believable that he's kind of got some badass to him, but he's also the Sonic that you want him to be. I don't know. It was awesome.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, I thought the movie was really good. I was surprised at how good it was. And actually, I wanted to share some thoughts about.
What's your next question?
Well, I'll get
No
to
more
that in a
questions?
second, but I'm
Okay.
gonna show some really cool things. So I'm showing the Mojo website, the Box Office Mojo by IMDb from IMDb. The sales of this, and this is what's really cool, and it's in theme of everything what we're talking about, how retro is alive, and I think this movie is actually pivotal because last year there was another retro movie. It was called Pikachu, right? And it did really, really well. It sold, what did they do, like 400 million worldwide?
Yeah, it did really well. Yeah.
And so that was good. And maybe the Sega or whoever's behind Sonic the Hedgehog, they're like, hey, we can make some money off of this. And is it working? Yeah. So it looks like already second week they're over 100 million. That's really good. So what does this mean? Off the top of my head, I don't have it all ready for me, but like the Super Mario Brothers movie costs like, I think it was like $40 million to make, but they only made 20 million in the box office. So they just like completely lost all the money on it, right? And so obviously that was a horrible movie. We comment about it now about how it's like, you know, a classic, but it's still like not that great of a movie.
Yeah.
You look at Street Fighter 2, I think that was a little bit better. Mortal Kombat, it was all right, but these didn't make a lot of money back in the day. But Sonic the Hedgehog, it's looking to do really good. I don't know, maybe it'll do as well as Pikachu, but I mean, immediately afterwards, the movie, everyone I was with talking about, they're like, I can't wait for the second one. Like,
Yeah.
it's so good. It's like
My son said the same thing. He's like, I can't wait for the second
it's almost
one.
obvious they're going to make a second one. So
Yeah.
because of how well it is, and then the fact that it was how successful it is. I'm hoping that this can really bring back Sega in different ways. Of course, the Sega Mini did come out this last year, and that was good. But you know, a little bit more love to the Sega world in different ways. I hope this movie can do something. And yeah, people in the chat were talking about how Jim Carrey was so great in this movie, and he absolutely was. He was just fantastic.
I was hoping you'd ask that as a question. I think he was a throwback to so many of, like, he took elements of, you know, because he was kind of typecast for a while.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like,
Yeah.
you know, the mask, kind of that attitude he had in the mask and that kind of attitude. But holy crap, did he like pull on all of the best parts of like the personality that he's developed over the years
Yeah.
into this character? It was Like,
but not too much, right?
but
Not
no,
to
not
the
too
point
much.
where it was like in your face. It was
No,
just
dude,
the right amount.
I was like, this is amazing. Like, I don't know.
Like the guy's all like, "Do you want a latte?" Of course I do, because I like the way you make them.
Yeah, like
So good.
I just think that you know what makes me? It was weird, dude. I felt like a little kid. Like I felt
Yeah.
kind of like a little kid watching it. I was like, there was weird points where I'm gonna sound really cheesy here, and you guys may like make fun of me, but I'm okay with that. There were moments where like I kind of felt like a kid again during the
Yeah,
movie. Like I got
totally.
emotional almost. It was weird.
Yeah.
Like I actually got emotional in a way that I was like all these weird nostalgic feelings. It just was cool, man. I like honestly, if you like that, if you loved that era for all the things that it had about it, it pulled on little things from all these little places that you just probably remember and love. It was awesome. I freaking love it. And Jim
About Jim
Carrey was so
Carrey.
good.
About Jim Carrey, Zero Hero 000 says Jim Carrey and Cable Guy is hilarious, and I have to agree with you. That movie led me into a path. There's several things in my childhood.
Oh boy,
that
are
led
you gonna
me-
actually wait? Are you gonna actually talk about? Because I was just about to. No, you go ahead.
Well, just a little. I won't go deep into
Okay.
it, but my first job was a cable guy, and that movie was one of the
What?
reasons. Like I was 18 years old, and I wanted to become a cable guy when I was like, I don't know, 12 or something. I saw a cable guy. I saw a cable guy come to my house, and he was just like using the remote. And I was like, that guy's a genius. I want to do that. And then when I saw Jim Carrey do the thing with the one-hand remote, I was like, I want to do that. I want to be that guy who walks into a room and knows everything about the television, can tell you everything about it. And that's what I did. And for 6 years, I went into people's home, and a lot of people don't know this part about it, like even at work. And every cable company that I worked for a handful of them, we could spend up to an hour training the customers, but most installers didn't. And what I did was I upgraded everything I possibly could on their television. Like when the time came, I hooked up their DVD player with component video, like everything. By the time HD TV came out, I was hooking it up as much as possible, and I'd be like, "I'll juice you up," like the Cable Guy movie. That was me. That's kind of why I'm passionate about when people talk about like 4:3 and stretching the screen, and I don't like it. It's literally because for a good part of my early 20s, I was trying to give the best quality picture to tons of people, and I did the math, and it was something about 20,000 people that I've interacted with when it comes to television and video content. And so, yeah, it's kind of important to me, and I stand by that.
That's awesome. No, I know, and I actually really do appreciate that. There's been things that we have some upcoming episodes and things we're going to talk about around how to like hook up your retro consoles the best way. I know you and I have talked about that, but we're definitely going to try to weave that into the show a little bit. Detroit Love said something that was awesome. He said Liar Liar was his favorite. And my favorite scene in that movie, and I'm probably going to butcher it, but I think he's like, some guy's like, what are you doing? I think it's his lawyer, and he's like, I'm kicking my own ass. And like, I don't know why.
With that.
Like, that was just awesome. Like, there's so many classic like Jim Carrey things. And I guess for me, he played this character so well that it reminded me of all the other characters he'd played in the past and that I loved. So it was really cool.
Yeah.
We had a super chat in here too. I just wanted to show really quick.
Yeah.
So Bad Karma said, "Oh, I lost the chat. Where'd it go? Oh shoot. Oh, there it is. Anyone see news on a new Mortal Kombat reboot? I actually didn't. Is there actually one that's announced officially or
now is he talking about Arcade 1-Up re-releasing Mortal Kombat, or are we talking about like the game or the movie? What are we talking about?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for the super chat, Bad Karma. But if you could just put that in there, what exactly you're referring to? Because if it's the movie, I didn't know that.
He says
that
the
would be
movie.
interesting. The movie, huh?
I hadn't heard about that. We got to check that out. I mean,
yeah,
that's
be cool.
the thing. Like the whole retro scene is on fire. That's what we're talking about, and Sonic the Hedgehog definitely helps with that. And yeah.
Okay, we got a gigantic super chat by Frisbee Champion Puppy for $25 just saying hi. Well, dude, that's awesome. Thank you so much, and hi back to you. Thank you for watching and
amazing.
tuning in. That's awesome. Wow, that's crazy. Thank you so much. And then we got another one that just rolled in too. Shoot. I keep missing it. Oh, it's my family. My family says, I want to tip Justin for giving people good service. I do the same in my field of work.
Dude, that's awesome.
Awesome. Thank you, my family. That's much appreciated. So Rexer Show said there is a new movie coming out. So I'm assuming he's talking about MK, like you said. So let's talk about that for 1 minute, because you have one more thing to share, right? Or you have all yours, or all yours are done.
That's it. I mean,
Are
I
all
have
you-
other
are all
things to
yours
share,
done?
but I don't have any like screen shares that I had planned.
Well, I think this would be a good opportunity to talk about Mortal Kombat really quick. So
Yeah.
I went back and watched the original movie, and it was weird because when I watched it as a kid, I guess I don't know how old I would have been, but I'm 40,
Came out
so
in
I don't know.
95.
Yes, I don't know. Maybe I would have been like in 14 or 15 or something like that, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But it was definitely around the time where I was playing the heck out of Street Fighter in the arcades and probably Mortal Kombat, but not as much. I remember like being in love with the soundtrack, like buying the CD for it and like listening to the soundtrack. But I think I loved the movie too. But when I went back and watched it, it was like, I don't know. The funny thing is it's almost like we would have died when we were kids to see the kind of budget they're putting into these video game movies now, right? Like,
Yeah.
they just felt, I don't know if they felt low budget to me then, but when I watched them back, it felt really low budget to me now. You know what I mean? Like it felt like, wow, they could have probably done this better, because if you think about when that movie came out, like Terminator
Right.
2 would have been out and you would have had like liquid metal and all this crazy stuff. So the money was there to make the special effects good. I just thought it was like kind of mediocre, even though I still loved it as a kid. Like I loved Mortal Kombat movie as a kid. So,
Yeah.
or teenager, whatever, preteen, whatever it was.
On that subject, it is kind of cool to go back and watch those movies back in the day. Some of the movies that, like video game movies, I think, in my memory, I think one of the best video game movies that is still good, and we watch, like our family watches this movie.
Okay, we
a
didn't
lot.
talk about this, so I have no idea what movie you're going to say.
You know, this is part of the show where we talk about whatever we want, right? The Wizard.
Yes.
In the last
Oh my
couple
gosh.
years,
Actually,
no
dude.
joke, like 10 times we've seen the movie The Wizard in the last couple years.
Dude, Superhero Rental of Arizona said The Wizard, like exactly when you were saying
Yeah.
The Wizard. And
California. Such a you watch. I watch it years later, and I'm like, wait a second, what is this about? It's about this kid that's autistic, and then he's like running away, and then like the parents might like break like, but then no. It's a Nintendo commercial. It's great.
yeah. It's
fantastic.
totally a Nintendo commercial.
But like it's I don't know, the scene where his dad's like, I love the scene where he's like, what is it, River Phoenix, the actor, I can't remember his name, right? Like he's like playing Nintendo, right?
Yeah.
And then like his dad's like, you shouldn't play it, and they're like in a hotel, and all of a sudden you see him playing Turtles, and he's like totally addicted to it, and he's like trying to play it.
Dude, you just
Oh
like,
right, the
sparked my
power
memory.
glove. The power glove, and he's like, it's so bad.
Dude, you just sparked a huge memory for me.
Yeah.
All right, guys, this is gonna be a little whatever poll. A movie that I loved as a kid. I mean, adored. Had River Phoenix in it, and it was like really close at a time in my life to Back to the Future as far as how I would have rated movies as a kid if you asked me what my favorite movie was. And it was this movie called Explorers.
Oh my god.
If you've seen the movie Explorers and you loved it, give a 1.
Give a 1. Yeah, I was gonna say, are you gonna go with Stand By Me? Because I don't think
No.
you should go there. But
God,
Explorers, oh
I
my.
loved Explorers. Dude, it just freaking made me.
Yeah.
like,
So do us
it
a
just- I
favor.
loved
Those that
it.
are hitting 0, go watch Explorers.
I think it's still good. I literally
Yeah.
think it's still good. I love that freaking movie. I probably Be Kind rewinded the crap out of that movie. I think I rented it, and then I think there was probably a period of time where my parents got a VCR, and I probably recorded it. Oh man.
So talk about
It just-
why you think it's a good movie. Like we talked about this earlier. Like
To me, there's this thing, and I don't know if I'm just like maybe talking smack on my kids' generation, but dude, they just made movies that like opened up your like sense of imagination so much then, and technology wasn't so rampant. Like you couldn't just do everything. Like I couldn't just pick up my phone and have it be a movie studio, listening to every piece of music I wanted, play games. Like you didn't have that access. So I just feel like we the things that like that movie or concept that I could I had a smart friend who's like a genius who could help me build, a space shuttle out of a carnival ride. just
Yeah.
it made you wonder, and
I
then but Justin, we talked about this before. Like that
yeah.
was the time where you would watch space shuttle launches on TV and be mesmerized. Like it just the technology was going crazy then, but it wasn't like everything was new to us. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Where to them, I just feel like nothing excites that or sparks that wonder in my kid. And we just had that feeling over and over and over again as kids. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm
Yeah.
crazy, and
Some other
they have
people
that. I don't know.
are mentioning some other movies. Last Starfighter, great movie.
Oh my
Flight of the
gosh!
Navigator.
Yes, Space Camp.
Yep.
Dude, Space Camp.
These were great
Freaking
movies.
awesome
Now
ass
I hope you
movies.
guys are like me. So I have a daughter. She's 11. Every movie that we've discussed so far, she's seen. Flight of the Navigator, one of her favorite movies. She's probably seen 10 times. Or like throw that on rotation anytime. I think she saw Last Starfighter. She wasn't too much into that one as much.
Yeah.
Yeah, but these were again, like you said, about your imagination.
Yeah, dude. It's just I don't know, man. I
Weird science.
yes, someone said weird science. I love weird. I would have been a little bit older for weird science, but I definitely
right.
remember. I just remember, dude. Chat. Poor rest his soul. Bill Paxton's dead now,
That's right.
but man, dude. Two roles that Bill Paxton played that I absolutely adore. One was Chet, and one was in True Lies when he played the guy trying to pretend to be the. Remember when he pees his pants on the bridge with Arnold
Right.
and Tom Arnold, dude?
Yeah.
Like he's awesome because he tries to play this like badass character. But Chet, oh my god,
about
Chet was
that,
great.
do you remember the movie Titanic, right? And of course, it was a big popular movie. And I'm gonna because it's Bill Paxton. Real quick, I'll go to it. But if you go look maybe on YouTube, there's actually a deleted scene of Bill Paxton giving an amazing, great performance.
Wait, in Weird Science?
No, in Titanic.
Oh, okay.
Like think about Bill Paxton. He wasn't in he didn't have like these big epic parts, but one of his biggest movies that he was in was Titanic. Like that movie was huge. Think of how many it was a big box office hit, and he was in it, but he didn't have very many scenes. But he had a scene. He was a really good actor. He had a scene where he was actually talking to the old lady and trying to get her not to commit suicide. It was an alternate ending.
What?
Where
okay, I got it's on. It's on YouTube.
Yeah, it's on
Okay,
YouTube.
I gotta
Like
check
if
that
you're
out.
into Bill Paxton, you'll have to check that out sometime. Like he's like trying to get her to come down.
Okay, dude.
But
As
anyway.
as inappropriate as this is, the comment, but it was a really funny line that that Bill Paxton says in True Lies. But so Kim and I we took my son to the basketball. There's like a basketball hoop across the street, so we went to play today. And there's this guy coming from. He was like walking out to his car, and she goes, "What's that car?" I was like, "Oh, it's a Corvette," and kind of rolled my eyes because it was like a really lame. It was like too doctored up, like it was, and the guy was just the right age where. It was funny because I'll tell you a little bit more. But so he gets in and I was like, and I looked at Kim. I go, you know what they say about the Corvette? And she goes, what? I go, the vet gets him wet. And she's like, ew. She goes, ew, that's gross. And
You mean that happened today?
today I said that to her. But the funny thing is, like, that goes to show you how like tied into the nostalgia thing I am. So thank you, Stringer Films. But where was I going to go with that? Oh shoot, it had to do with the vet and Bill Paxton, and now I forgot. It was really funny.
Sorry,
too.
I went off on Titanic for a little bit.
It's
sorry.
okay. It's okay. It was awesome though. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Like I don't know. But anyways, but getting back to so the hype around I guess basketball can lead us into NBA Jam. So we saw Justin, kind of interesting. So you and I were unsure about these light up control panels that were in the verbiage for the pre-orders for GameStop, right? Remember, you and I were debating on whether that was real, a typo, whatever. Well, then we confirmed with David McIntosh it was real, and then further developments over the weekend. One shows up on Best Buy. Now you can do the pre-order for NBA Jam on Best Buy, but then it has there's a light up control panel on all three of those machines we featured, including the one at Best Buy. So the NBA Jam one does have a light up control panel as well.
Yeah, I wonder what's going to happen. Like, is it going to be all or nothing while we're talking about NBA Jam? Like some people I made a video yesterday about it, and some people were chatting like, hey, are they going to build some that like don't have the light up deck protector that are maybe a little cheaper? But it seems like it's $500, right? And you get everything they've ever thrown in a cabinet plus this, and that's cool. But what I did like about, say, like the Marvel Superheroes cabinet, they did make basically a $300 version that they had at Walmart and Target, and for a while it was like $250. So, we still definitely want those that maybe can't afford or don't want to spend that much money on the full size cabinet to be able to get it.
Yeah.
So that's I'm hoping we see another variation that maybe doesn't have all the extra goodies in it.
Yeah, and someone asked how does it light up? So there's all these pictures floating around. The pictures are they're photoshopped mock-ups. They're not
Right.
It's not showing the real light up. It's very obvious that they're Photoshop pictures. So they didn't have that at CES. When Justin and I were at CES, they did not showcase any kind of light up deck protector. So we'll see what it looks like. I don't know. But
Brad
I was
mentions, and this, I want to bring this up because it's a good point. He says, Justin, you and I are going to take Ralph down on NBA Jam. So just if some of you guys, this might sound weird, but if some of you guys are on the fence about NBA Jam, and you got to make your own decision whether that you want to get one. But I will tell you, I was having a chat with a couple of people today. I picked one up. Ralph picked one up. And when they do come out, we're going to try to figure out a way to be able to play with you guys that did pick it up. And I think that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, we were going to try to
one-on-one, head-to-head, put together.
But have it on the show, right? Like that was the whole idea.
Right. Like it would be like a stream that we would do, right? Like people could watch. There could be spectators that are like watching, and then we can actually play against people. The NBA Jam. What I'm hoping is that their tech can hold up. I have faith in the company that's doing the emulation is Code Mystics, and they're kind of like the champions in the game of doing some of the best emulation out there. So I'm hoping that their technology for the whole net play is really, really good. But if it's not, it's all upgradable, right? Because if we're talking about servers and we're talking about firmware updates, because it's Wi-Fi enabled. So if they don't get it right day one, they'll be able to patch it. I believe that.
Yeah. No,
So
it'll be.
I'm excited
that'll be
about that. That'll actually make the. It's an interesting one because the NBA Jam, it's a great game, but like being able to play with some other people, because I don't know about you, but my friends don't come over every day. You know what I mean? And so being able to play with some other people online, that might be fun.
Yeah, no, I think it'll be a good time. I think that'll be a fun thing to do this summer, right? When when it's 115 in Arizona, you don't really go outside much unless you're in a pool. So if I'm inside, we can play some NBA Jam.
Yeah, so now we're going to give some focus down to the comments. So let us know what you think about all the variety of things that we've been talking about. We can maybe keep to a subject, and we'd love to highlight some of your comments, and we can discuss them. What do you think, Ralph?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Jeff, I don't know Jeff, it's probably because you're watching from Facebook. Jeff was saying he only sees 6 watching. We have 206 watching on YouTube, and I can't actually see how many we have watching on Facebook. So
yeah, obviously
there probably is.
We have a pretty big crowd on the YouTube side of things. So
yeah, actually, Justin, while you're doing that, I wanted to show someone something real quick, because I feel like we don't really advertise this much, but we talk so much about post-show things in here. So if you guys aren't part of this group, consider joining this. So on Facebook, there's a group called Home Arcade Modders and Enthusiasts. So I don't advertise like that I'm a part of this, but this is technically my group, and I really love it. We have a lot of great conversations in here. I'm not as active as I would like to be in here, but I try to go in from time to time. Actually, you can see us streaming right now, right there. So we're looking at ourselves streaming. So we do stream.
Wait, go back to it. Go back to it.
Why?
Yeah. Oh man, you already got to the point. I was gonna say, what are we looking at? And then you're supposed to say, we're looking at now. Everything that's happening now is happening now. You're looking at now. What happened to then? We just passed it. Yeah, that's right. Spaceballs.
Awesome. That's actually awesome. By the way, another ridiculous. So anyways, go join Home Arcade Modders and Enthusiasts, and we continue a lot of the conversations there. But oh my gosh, dude. Okay. Another movie I love. Spaceballs is awesome. I mean, so good. My favorite line in Spaceballs, and I'm going to butcher it a little bit. He's like,
"Oh, I'll help you."
He's like, I see you have the ring. And he's like, and your Schwartz is as big as mine. That's another one. And then the one where he's like, what does he do? And he's like, I don't remember the line going up to it where he's like, fooled you. That's the oldest one in the book, man. Like, I forget how he says it, but it's so funny.
I can't believe, you fell for that one too. What is with you, man? Come on.
What is with you, man?
No, but remember he gets all serious and he's like, because good will always lose to evil.
because good is dumb. Like, dude, because good is dumb. Like, it's awesome. It's
so
awesome.
good.
Oh my gosh, it's so awesome. Evil always wins.
Wait. Did
Because
someone
good
say?
is dumb.
Someone just said in the chat that Rick Moranis is finally making a comeback.
No way. Is that true?
No. So I've been following this for decades because Rick Moranis. So when I was a kid and I got HBO for the first time, I recorded what I call the Rick Moranis trilogy. Literally, it said like Rick Moranis trilogy on it, VHS. You remember you could like put it, the VHS into that mode where you could record like 9 hours of movies or something? Or was it 6 hours? So I recorded Little Shop of Horrors, Spaceballs, and Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. I'm pretty sure it was those three, which I watched over and over and over and over again. And then, of course, in like 97, Rick Moranis, it's like his wife died in like 92 or something like that. And then in 97, he was like, that's it.
Yeah.
I'm going to just take care of my kids. And he's always wanted to come back if there was something worthwhile coming back. And when the Ghostbusters wasn't enough for him, I guess, there wasn't like a good reason for him to come back. And I was always hoping, because I had heard some rumors that they were actually going to make Spaceballs 2, The Search for More Money, which is, like in the movie, they're like, we'll all meet again on the sequel.
Yeah.
Spaceballs 2. And I guess they're kind of thinking about doing it. I don't know if they could really pull it off, but the fact that they've completed the trilogy now, right? The whole like 9 movies of Star Wars, you could kind of like make fun of the Star Wars movies and kind of get away with it. And I really hope they do it. And that's how I'd love to see Rick Moranis come back.
Oh my gosh, that'd be awesome. But it sounds like he is. It sounds like he's coming back in this movie Shrunk, though. So I guess.
All right.
Yeah, that'd be cool. So Chris Guys, love you, buddy. You and I have not connected in a really long time, and I'm sorry about that. We keep missing each other. But yeah, it's called Shrunk.
Someone said it's Disney Plus, so you should know this, Justin. I knew they were making another
Come on, Justin.
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids thing, Disney Plus exclusive, but I didn't know Rick Moranis signed up for it.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't know that either, but that's awesome. Don't you feel like
there you go.
Don't you feel
Disney
like
Plus
unfortunately
is the reason Rick Moranis would come back? Makes sense to me. Oh, best movie of all time with Rick Moranis in it, Strange Brew. Are you kidding me? Fantastic.
Hey, real quick, there was something.
He doesn't know any quotes from Strange Brew. So.
I don't actually. That's why it doesn't.
No, come on. He's like the best line. I think is like, I gotta. Never mind. I won't get into it. Anyway.
May the Schwartz be with you. Spaceballs 2 does really need to happen. So wait, okay, Jeff just came over. Jeff just came over. Welcome from Facebook, Jeff. Yeah, dude, they do need to do a Spaceballs 2. I agree with you a million times over. But it's kind of interesting because I don't remember who I was talking to about this, but I was talking to someone about, he was a little older guy, and we were talking about Mel Brooks, and he made a comment, and he said, it's unfortunate that a lot of Mel Brooks's humor, he felt like he kind of left no one off the table, right? Like he'd make fun of every race, like he didn't care, like everything, nothing was off limits with him. But I also felt like at the time, I don't know, like people were less sensitive to everything now. I do wonder if some of those movies were like re-released, if people would like be outraged by some of the stuff that they say in them, because at that time, I don't know,
sure.
I don't know, which is unfortunate because, gosh, they were so funny. But they weren't hateful. It was just kind of like, hey, we make fun of everyone, right? Like no one's off limits.
Well, you even go back 10 years and watch the first couple seasons of The Office, and which was a fantastic show. But it's some of the things they couldn't even get away with now. Like, admittedly, the writers are still making TV shows, but they're not as edgy as The Office. And I've watched. There's a podcast about The Office, and they're like, there's no way we could get away with any of that today.
So we got another super chat. I don't know that I'm going to be able to say it's Clement, right? Is that right?
Sounds good.
Yeah. So thank you so much. It says, okay, guys, I quit.
Dude, he gave us $5 Canadian. Isn't that like $1 million?
I think it might be. It's like $1 million. Thank you so much. He says the possibility of Dragon's Lair 1-up. So I'll give my philosophy on this, and then I'll have Justin go over. I think they did do that petition, or the community did that petition, and it was really successful. My thought was that was already in the plan, and so it was kind of like it's going to probably happen anyway. But I think the petition just helped support what they were doing. Like, oh, hey, yeah, there is the interest that we think. But I think they were already going to do that, and it was already in motion. I would expect us to possibly see that at E3.
Yeah, it's possible. Now, we we did talk to Arcade One Up about that, and like David McIntosh, we're like, hey, is Dragon's Lair a real thing? And he's like, well, I guess we have to do it now, right? And he goes, no, it's going to happen. The question is when. And then there's another thing that there was some mentions of, Arcade One Up might do a deal where they got some other fan favorite cabinets that they've reviewed as not being big, right? So keep that in mind. Like John D mentioned something to us. He was like, they went through the top 100 games and they're going through. They know what's super popular, right? And they got all this analytics around groups and likes and impressions of how many people want this cabinet and this what. But then they go play some of those games, and some of them actually aren't fun. Like you go back to them and they're like, I don't think people would actually like this, right? And then there's the games that there's like a cult classic following over some of these games that were never popular, right? And are very hard to emulate. So among some of those games that are having like little niche, like people desperately want it, they're thinking about doing a thing where they're like, if you're serious, then put some money into it. Like it would be, what do you say? Something like it would be like it's not crowdsourcing. People are saying like, what, Arcade One Up's going to crowdfund? No. It's like a weird pre-order, put $20 down. And the reason why is they want to make sure you're serious before they spin up 3,000 of them. Because imagine they spin up 3,000 machines and they ship them all to the US and nobody buys them.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
egg
Justin,
on your face.
For those people that are like really into Dragon's Lair, there's the New Wave Toys, the Replicade product that's going to be coming out. So that it's kind of cool. I backed this Kickstarter. It was a pretty neat project. I mean, I backed it because it's really cool, but at the same time, I don't know how fun Dragon's Lair is going to be to play on this little screen, but I don't know. I still had to back it because these things are so cool because they shape them like the real cabinets. I mean, they literally look identical to the real cabinet, so I just I had to do it. This is one I just had to do.
Yeah. Before you jump to the super chat, I do want to mention that someone said, would love to hear the games they say aren't fun. They didn't say this specifically, but they did say that they're not making a full-size Dig Dug. So maybe they're like, Dig Dug is not as fun as you think it is. But what's funny is it's one of my daughter's favorite games, so I may be putting words in their mouth, but they did say Dig Dug's not happening.
Yeah. So Detroit Love said In Living Color couldn't be done to get to today. I agree. Probably definitely couldn't, which someone else made a comment saying we grew up in a really cool time. And I think that's so true. We really did.
Yeah.
I mean, we really did. We just had, I don't know. It is weird. And it's not meant to be political or anything like that,
Sure.
But it is interesting how different and how, I don't know, even just talking to my kids and interacting with my kids, like things that I might say, which I feel are just me being honest, are taken as like, oh my gosh, like why would you say that to someone? Or why would you say that to me? And it's like, well, but like, honesty is good. It's not like, there's the difference between me being honest and me being like mean to someone. You know what I mean?
Right,
like if you're honest to someone, like I feel like Justin and I have like if I do something, if I'm like, hey, Justin, check this out. I was going to post this. What do you think? Like he'll be like, yeah, dude, I'm not feeling this one section of the video. Like you got to fix this. And I, maybe
Wait,
at
you're
first
going there?
yeah, maybe at first it's hard for me to hear that, but I would tell him too. Like, you know what I mean? It's not meant to hurt his feelings or for him to hurt mine. It's meant to be like, yeah, dude, I think the video could be better, and that just pushes people to produce something that's better.
Well, that's the thing that we've been talking about recently. Like if you want an honest opinion about something, like, hey, I'm making this video. What do you think of this content? Is it interesting? Like we've said in our show before, like if you really hate our show and the direction we're going, give us a thumb down, right? Like in the end with YouTube, it doesn't really matter because a thumb up, thumb down is kind of just an impression. It's almost a badge of honor if you have a video with 100% thumbs up. And we do appreciate that. Like that's really cool if we get thumbs up. But it also tells us we're going in the right direction. And I would rather know that we're going in the right direction than being fooled by people just saying like, yeah, you're great and awesome, but they're just saying that to be nice. So we gotta figure out a balance, right, when it comes to this stuff, where it's like constructive criticism or encouraging in a constructive way, something like that.
Yeah. I mean, I've had I can't remember what it was. I used to have someone that would always say. So for a while, when I was doing mod videos, I would pay a lot of attention to cabling, And then for a couple, I got really, I don't know that I would say it's laziness, but I just didn't have time to do the cabling really clean. And there was someone, every single video, they'd be like, dude, what happened to your cabling? Your cabling looks like crap. It doesn't look clean. Like, do you not care about your projects anymore? And I was like, oh my gosh, it started getting to me. And I do. But I was like, man, I appreciate it. Like, I've been super busy. I just haven't had a chance to. So it was kind of funny. But yeah, but I appreciated it. Like, yeah, he wasn't really trying to troll me. He's just like, dude, what happened? Like, you used to actually care about your, you used to actually care about it. Oh, so this petition, by the way, that I shared wasn't my petition on the WWF WrestleFest. That was someone else's. I just shared it because I thought it would be fun if that was a cabinet that they created, right? But I don't know if there's going to be as much. I don't know if there's going to be as much. I don't know, interest in it. I feel like I thought there'd be a lot, and then when I look at it, there's only like 300 or 400 people that signed it. So
Right.
I don't see that being enough interest. But maybe it's just not getting out to enough people. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's some interesting things in the chat. Ralph, I have a question for you.
Sure. What's up?
What was the first video game console that you owned, when you were a child, that you brought home, that or your parents brought home, and, you hooked up to a television and started playing?
Yeah, it actually would have been an Atari 2600.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we had an Atari 2600, but it was like, I think I was too young. It was like my sister's Atari.
It was my sister's, actually. It wasn't mine. But I mean, do you want it to be ones that the one I first remember that was for me specifically? Because it wouldn't have been the 2600. That would have been my sister's.
Yeah, I think we're about to say the same thing. What was it?
Well, actually, the funny thing is it wasn't an NES. It was a Sega.
It was a Tiger Electronics.
No, it was a Sega. It was a Sega Master System. Was my first game console.
Really?
My first that was bought for me.
Like straight up the original before the Genesis Mega Drive? Like,
yep, Sega
wow.
Master System. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even know that existed till years later. Like,
yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, my cousin got an NES in like '86, which is crazy in Iowa because that's a console that actually took a while to get across the U.S.
I gotta reference this really quick. So Chris, I know that you have way too much supporting information that says that I'm a Super Sega fanboy, but I just want you to know that after that Sega Master System, I had an NES for a really long time, and I loved the crap out of my NES. So you be quiet.
Yeah, I just love the NES and the history behind it. How they're basically trying to make a VCR that could play video games, and Anyway,
did you ever see the video that Chris did on the channel of the NES, the TV, the NES, that whole NES TV system, and it's connected RGB? You would appreciate it. It's connected RGB.
I must have missed it. I thought
to
I
the
watched
TV.
all of his Chris's.
Yeah,
Chris's
Chris, what's
stuff.
that thing called again? Chris, put it in the text. I can't remember what that thing's actually called. And
Did
for
you
some
watch
reason,
it? Because evidently you don't know anything about it.
Oh, shut up! I loved it. I had the Sharp NES TV.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the reason why that is so cool is because it is actually connected RGB to that
That's
TV.
right.
Yeah.
That's right. So they
and
must
it
have
looks
been using
ridiculously good.
Is that right? So they must have been using the PPU from the what's it called? The what's it called? The PlayChoice 10?
Yeah, they're using the LMNOP QRS 5560.
No, check it out. So when Nintendo made arcade games and the arcade systems were all RGB, and so their arcade system was called the PlayChoice 10 because it had 10 cartridges in it. That was their arcade system. And they took all the same technology from that and used it on a Nintendo, but to save money, they knew they were only going to do composite videos. So the picture processing unit in the Nintendo does not have the RGB circuitries in it because to save money. So you only get composite video. So therefore, if the Sharp TV has RGB, they're not using the Nintendo chip, they're using the PlayChoice 10.
Okay.
Boom.
All right. You just blew my mind, dude. Thank you. You just blew my mind. Dude, actually, all right, we got to wrap this up soon.
Sorry, but let me go back to stupid Justin and not be all super nerdy because I forgot the 4x3 crowd is here and they don't. Anyway.
Dude, one thing, I was going through some stuff right before the show because Kim not want me to, but I felt like I should clean some stuff up. And there's a system that I bought that I never owned. I bought it like a year ago today. Actually, about a year ago, I bought a 3DO. Never owned a 3DO because the 3DO was stupid expensive, right? It was so expensive. and I opened it up the case of games that I ended up getting from the guy I bought it off of. The guy was really cool. I bought it off of him. I went into his house. He invited me into his house from offer up, and I was like, I don't really like going into people's houses.
Yeah, a little scary.
Yeah, and when I walked in, when I opened the door, and I never get recognized by anybody, he's like, "Oh my gosh, I watch your channel. Like, you're Retro Ralph." And I
No
was like,
way.
"Yeah, he did. He knew who I was." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's so cool. No one ever recognizes me." And he goes, "Dude, I gotta hook you up." And I was like, "Dude, you don't have to do anything like that." He's like, "Well, he's like, but I've been going through my games and I have a bunch of duplicates." And he goes, "Do you like this game?" And I don't know why he would know. No clue. And the disc that he held up to me was Wing Commander 3, and I was obsessed with Wing Commander. Obsessed. And so when he pulled that up, I was like, that whole comment about you don't have to hook me up, I was like, well, I mean, if it's Wing Commander 3 and you want to spare it, then I guess that's cool.
Right. All of a sudden, he became your best friend, right?
Yeah, I was like, buddy, I mean, come on. But no, so that and the other game that he gave me that I love on the 3DO is Road Rash. Road Rash on the 3DO is awesome.
Yeah.
So, anyways, the 3DO had some really stinking piles of monkey crap games.
Yeah.
But there's some good ones on it too. There's a couple good ones.
Yeah, that's really cool, man. Yeah, the 3DO, I got to play that recently. It was never a console that I played, but it's kind of the game that I was playing kind of was in that, felt like Myst a little bit, you know? But I just discovered that there's locally in Des Moines, Iowa, they have a handful of retro shops, and I thought they were kind of dying because there's this one called Gamers that went out of, they went out of business last year.
Okay.
But it actually caused one of the other ones to like open more stores, and I went to their new store, and it is. I've sent you pictures of it. Like, it is awesome.
Oh, that's the one. Oh, that store is the one you sent the pictures of. Oh, it looked like they had like a lot of good product.
They have a lot
there.
of stuff. I mean, that's where I could probably go on eBay and get like a Dreamcast for $60, but they have it there for like basically the same price. And Gamers, which I went last year, everything was always above eBay prices. So I'd go there and be like, I want to support the local place, but you're pricing it outside where like I could get free shipping, right? Like, come on, right? Like, try to be reasonable with your prices. Don't go $20 more on things. But this place is priced really well. So I've been thinking about picking one of those up. But they have tons of 3DO stuff there.
Really? But they have a lot of games? Because I have a hard time finding the games. They actually had a lot of 3DO
I'll take a picture
games.
of what they got. It might be like 10 or 20 games, so it's not like thousands. But I was surprised they even had a section on it, right?
Dude, that's awesome, actually. Hey, real quick, I promised I would do something for someone, and I actually had almost slipped my mind, and I want to make sure I do that. So there's a site on Facebook called Arcade Underground. It's actually one of the guys. It's actually in the on the chat right now. Cursed Existence. He runs it, and there's an actual there's a roundtable discussion he's got going on where Arcade 1UP is actually they're part of the discussion. But they're trying to make their customer service better. So basically, they're wanting people to share experiences so they can kind of improve customer service. And this is something that Scott's actually talked about for a while now, where he admitted at CES, look, it's not going that well, but we're making improvements, and we really want it to be better. And I actually genuinely both Justin and I really got a chance to spend a little bit of time with him. Mm-hmm. I feel like he is really invested in making sure that it does get better. But I realize Justin and I have both been in fields where we have to have tech support. There has to be tech support for either a product or whatever. And oftentimes what ends up happening, especially with a startup, is they have a hot product and they can't even ramp customer service fast enough. So I think they're in that same spot where they're just I don't think they realize the explosion the product would have. Yeah. And now they're trying to ramp customer service.
And I think last year when they said, he was like, give me a month, I'm gonna take care of it. And I think he did. But then their product scaled outside of their customer. So it's like they're just trying to catch up with themselves, And so now it has improved. It has improved. I mean, I used to get, and you did as well, right? Tons of comments on our channel about bad customer support, and it's still there, but it's a lot smaller. So if we're any touch point on that, I think we can tell that it's a little bit better. But for the few people, I'm sure there's a number of people that are having bad experiences.
Yeah, and it's tough, right? When you invest in a product and you have a bad experience. It's hard because you hate to be in a chat and someone go, well, I bought it and I've had no problems. And it's like, well, but that has a lot of times your customer service issues that happens to one individual or a couple individuals, and that becomes their experience with the product. And if it's not good, like that's kind of how it ends up happening. And so, so just know that like I totally understand if someone has a bad experience with a product, but at least give them a chance. This is they want to solicit the feedback. So join the Arcade Underground and Facebook and join that conversation. I know Derek would really appreciate it. And
Yeah.
Arcade One Up is monitoring it, so they want to hear from you. So I know we kind of all get emotional when they buy a product that doesn't work, but if they're going to give us the chance to talk and try to make something better, let's try to see if we can, if we can help them make improvements.
Yeah, let's make sure we grab these super chats. I think above here is it Ray was above?
Oh wait, hold on. There was a super chat on.
Let's make sure
that
we
was
grab 'em all.
above. Yeah. Okay.
Go for it.
Oh, that was from I can't see it really. That was from Ray, right? He said,
Yeah.
"Love the show. Thank you so much for the super chat. Definitely appreciate that, Ray. Appreciate you watching." And then we had one from Legend84. It said, "Thank you, Ralph, for all that you do, and Justin. My 7-year-old nephew can power on the Pi, but can't do the Contra code. I have to do it. Teach him young. I'm 35. I know it's up, down, left, right, BA start. I mean, come on. And then if you're doing two players,
See, when I
it's
was I was
select
about to
start.
say when I was a kid, it's up, down, left, right. You know what's funny is just
But
just
Justin,
so
that's
know,
when you had friends that you could
That's
actually
right.
play with.
That's
Now
right.
now you drop the select. There's no reason.
No,
I don't have
play
any reason
Contra
to do
with my daughter. I only play Contra about every couple months.
Okay.
We beat it. We can do it in about
All right.
17
All right,
minutes.
fair
but that's
enough,
with
fair
tons
enough.
of continues. I will say that it is because as a software developer, I've worked for several companies, and I always put Easter eggs in every application that I write. And I work with coworkers, and I try to spread the concept of you need to put Easter eggs in the app. So riddled through every application I've ever built, there are Easter eggs in it, and several of them are up, down, left, right, because most of the apps that I've built in the last 5 years involve you holding a remote control because they're TV streaming apps, right? So up, down, left, right will unlock things. Sorry, not on Disney. There are no Easter eggs in production on Disney.
Oh man, dude, I'm getting to the point where unfortunately we're tapping into a little bit of the family time for this Sunday. So we gotta call it a show here soon. So there was one thing I promised, and unfortunately I didn't have time to do it. So I will 100% do it next weekend. But I am gonna give this thing away, even though if you guys saw if you saw my video on it,
The Retro Tramp?
wow, it's got a lot of fingerprints. See, that's when
We'll clean it up. He'll clean it up before he sends it out.
Yeah, I'll clean it up. But the My Arcade, I am gonna give away the Retro Champ. You guys, you guys know it's a little tight with the carts, if you know what I mean. You'll have to watch that. But
Yeah, so you got to go buy a Famicom cart and then use that to push the NES one out. But that's
Well, you
cool
want-
because
no. It won't push the Famicom cart out. The NES cart will push the Famicom cart
Oh, is
out.
that
I don't think
right?
it goes the other way. Yeah, it won't go the other way. I don't
we got
think.
we got a super chat from Remy 8169. He says, "Will you guys do Mister Talk in the future?" Absolutely. It is absolutely on our agenda to share as much knowledge as we have about Mister. We've discussed doing it on both of our channels and here on One Up Weekly. It's on the agenda, and we'd love for you guys to support that. We know that a lot of people here don't know about the Mister project, so we're going to do a couple of videos that kind of help you understand how it works and encourage you, if you have the money and time, to pick one up, and then we're going to teach you guys how to use it and have a lot
Someone
of fun
suggested,
with it.
Justin, that they want Smoke Monster on the show, and I know you've you have a little bit of a relationship with him. It'd be really cool. I think we would love that.
Yeah, I've reached out to him about that. I mean, I met the guy. His name is Mike. He's awesome. One thing I will say about Smoke Monster that a lot of people don't know, he has showed it on social media, but Ralph, you will love it. He used to own a DeLorean.
Shut up.
Yeah, like he's totally
did.
Back to the Future fan, DeLorean fan. I don't think he has one right now, but he used to own one. Maybe he does. I can't remember, but yeah, cool.
That's
awesome
cool
guy.
as hell.
And yeah, he's done a lot for the Mister community, so I'll see if he wants to come on.
Yeah, I mean, so Justin and I have like loosely played with it. We haven't done a whole lot. Like I did the SD RAM upgrade to mine. I got a lot of the cores running and everything, and it works really good. But I'm definitely not an expert in it. But we kind of we're thinking it'd be cool to do a series on it where we like kind of learn it together. You know what I mean? Like we'll go through like a couple steps and go, this is what we learned so far, and kind of share that. But there's so many things that you can do with it. I want to show one thing before we go. Remember how I did the video of how to hook your Xbox up to your arcade controls? And I used, remember the one that I just did?
Yeah, it was great.
He's like, yeah, I didn't watch it. But
No,
no,
I watched it. It was
no, I know,
fantastic.
I'm just kidding. So I have an alternative method that I've had here for a while. I just hadn't
You're
really.
totally ignoring all the. Before you jump into that, we got
What?
several. We're missing the super chats, so we got
Oh,
my
sorry.
family. My family, thank you so much for the $1.99. LUSS hashtag This Is the Way. Is it LUS or LUSS? I probably don't make the connection. I'm trying to figure out. This is the way is a Mandalorian quote that a lot of people on social media are using for other things, which I completely disapprove of. But let's talk about that at another
It's
time.
Legends Ultimate. It's the
yeah,
the not so secret society, I guess.
yeah. That's kind of. I don't think that's actually kind of not cool. Disney takes their property very seriously, so people should watch out. There was a store in Denver that shut down because they had Mickey Mouse stuff on it. So let's not talk about that. Anyway, so Sean Powers says Ralph wants us to break our NES carts. That's right, he does.
Well, I don't, but it wants. I think my arcade wants us to break our NES cards.
That's right. Well, you
But,
demoed exactly how to not take it.
Yeah, dude. And the thing is, there were the people that were on the live stream really know that was actually it all happened. I just pieced it all together, but it was pretty funny. But this is the Brooks Universal Fighting Board, which looks like this. So this thing's actually compatible with a lot of different consoles. So you can kind of eliminate a lot of the steps of the X Arcade. I wired one up. It was funny. I just wired one up the other day to try to put it into, actually you can't see it in the frame anymore, on my MK11, and it worked great. The only problem with these Brooks boards is they're really expensive. So you end up spending almost $100 more to do this solution versus the X Arcade solution. So it is what it is. But the problem is like, if you go here, you won't have to buy all the other X Arcade adapters to support your other systems. So it's a good idea, but yeah, it's just another way. All I'm doing on the channel, right? I'll show you a way to do something. There's probably 10 ways to do something sometimes. I just found that X Arcade was a good hardware solution, and it's been really reliable for me. Once it's set up, you just kind of leave it. You don't touch it after that. So just know, like, this is definitely an option for you if you're looking to hook up a console to like an Xbox 360 or an Xbox One to your arcade controls, a PS4. It'll all work with this. And this is firmware updatable. They actually have Wii support, and I think it supports this even supports, I think, the Neo Geo Mini and a couple other platforms. So really cool.
Yeah, well, I think that's it for today. I really hope you guys enjoyed this show where we got to talk about the review. We got to talk about all the things about retro gaming that is on fire right now. I guess it's retro in general, right? Because it's not just retro gaming, but everything surrounded outside of it. I think it's truly on fire, and it's a fun time to kind of report that and digest that information. Do us a favor, hit that like button if you like this video today.
Yeah.
Give us a 1 here in the chat if you liked this new format that we're doing. Especially, we're kind of taking it a step further where we are, interacting with the crowd, but also showing presentations and showing the things that we enjoyed this week about the retro world, and try to share that with you. So we're going to try to keep doing that every week. That's what you can expect from the One Up Weekly. Is showing you things that that we love, and we hope you love it too.
All right, guys. Well, thanks so much. And can we, on this platform, can we do the line at the same time?
Let's go for it.
All right.
Hey, guys, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see
you on the next one. It was off. It was off.
It's not going to work.